All right, we're here with Coach U and Chris Gray after the Bruins fall to CIU 76-68. Coach, we talked about it at halftime a little bit, but to be able to respond from a 15-3 hole to start the game, for us to come back the way that we did, took a lead into the half, and then just kind of at the end kind of let it get away from us. So in this one, what were your overall thoughts on the game tonight?
Well, there's a few things that we can remedy. There's a few things we can't, and having majority of our best defenders, rebounders, and scorers in there, when you're facing a team who presses and all of that, there just comes a point where in all of these games where they're coming back during the first 10 minutes, but my guys are also exhausted, and I know that I've got to take them out so that they can finish the game. And we've done a lot of different things to try to hide that, and I've tried to be creative with timeouts and have a timeout, every couple minutes. And we're staying in the game by me doing that, and we're finishing these games really close. But I'm really proud of where they're at. Coach Stockman's the first year coach there. He's won a couple of championships at Ohio Christian, played at Clemson, and then he played at Ohio State. Mm-hmm. And he's played at a very high level, and he's done a really good job in the program. Brought in a bunch of new guys this year that weren't there last year. So, I was really proud again without Keontae and without Matt, just guys who this week have been thrown into roles and playing time. Jamal responded. Mm-hmm. Jamal was a real spark off the bench. I was really proud of him. Chris, of course, did a lot of things vocally and rebounding-wise and defensively that really helped us stay in that game.
Chris, I'm going to ask you about this because they just they had a barrage of weapons on us tonight from a lot of different ways that they could score. But we look at that 15-3 hole that we dug ourselves in and say, well, we played good offense to get back into it, but defensively we really shorted up as well and being able to limit those guys. So particularly in that first half when we got down by so much, what was key for us and being able to get back into that game?
Yeah, I would just say, we had a good timeout and coach addressed what was going on, and I think guys just really buckled down, and we didn't want to be in that situation again. So being more vocal out there, communicating, rebounding, seeing what kind of player we're guarding, and then executing on offense. I think we're running like secondary stuff with coach where we practiced a lot this week, and just hitting guys that were hot. So I think we did overall really well. So I'm proud of the guys coming back like that.
Something that Coach emphasized at the half that we were doing really well, particularly in the first half, was that pick and roll and getting into those isolation situations. I know a couple of times you found guys on the back door and that kind of thing. Just talk about how that's able to open up the offense when we get that kind of movement going.
Yeah, it definitely brought out their big guy, Jeff. He was a good guy, but keeping him out of the paint, and I think that's what we worked on a lot this week, and using that in our offense, with that kind of creates more offense with guys kind of sinking in, getting it out to our shooters, and also attacking at the rim. I think we can be very dangerous, especially when we bring back Keontae. He's very good penetrator into the paint, and I think he can also hit the shot. So overall, I think using that pick and roll situation is super. I'm really excited, and I think the guys are going to do a very good job.
Coach, kind of looking back comprehensively at first semester, obviously people are going to look at the record and go, man, we're stinking it up, that kind of thing. But if you look at each box score, there's only a couple of games that we've been completely out of it.
Yeah.
And so you got to be impressed with how the guys have responded so much to the adversity that's been in front of them with so many injuries and that kind of thing. So kind of just a recap, I guess, of first semester, the things that you're encouraged by, and as we go into second semester, particularly as we go into our region schedule and playing against a lot of the teams that we're more accustomed to playing, some of the things that we continue to need to improve upon as we go into region play.
Yeah, I worked with the captains, Jason and Chapman. We went through a 10-week course this summer, and I've done that every year, probably for the last 10 years with my team captains. And, when we were going through that, we had no idea what we were going to be facing this year, but I'm so glad those guys took their time in the summer to go through that course with me, and Chris went through it, and we had conversations every Sunday night. We just brought up all these different scenarios where if this happens during the year, this is how we're going to handle it. And I'm so proud of Chris and Jason and Chapman for doing that. They're really good leaders. They're not asking people to do things that they're not doing themselves, whether it comes to servant leadership or sacrifice and all of that. And I feel like we have a really good culture and a really good spirit together. And if we didn't, what we're going through would be absolutely disastrous. There would be a lot of fighting and stuff like that. And it's not like that at all. We're actually really very close, and we've never been more tight knit. And everybody wants each other to succeed from 1 to 10. And so even as bad as some things have been, it could be a lot worse if they were acting fleshly, and they're acting the way God would want them to act. And I'm incredibly proud of them for that. And each player eventually has a little bit of their coach's DNA on them, and I think that they represent me in how they handle things, and I feel really, really encouraged. I think that they're representing me well in what they're doing. They're not giving up. They're not, fighting with the other team or doing things like that. They're not getting technicals. They're continuing to compete, and that's something that you can build a program around. So, our goal from the beginning has been to be in the region championship and to win it, and that's still what I expect. We still have the ability to do that. I don't know that the other people in our region are playing the type of people that we're playing, and I really honestly feel like if these guys come back for second semester in good shape from Christmas break and we start our region play, I really feel like at the end of the year we're going to be in competition for the region championship, and if we do that, then we're hosting the national championship, and we have a chance to be in the national championship tournament in our own gym. And, I really feel like our best days are in front of us. We got all the shots we wanted today at the end, and, there's just going to be games where you don't hit them, but we out-rebounded them. We only had 13 turnovers. We had 8 at halftime, 5 in the second half, and so you've been hearing me talk about the internal scoreboard, and that's why we're consistently competitive, is because they're doing all those things, and then the last part of that scoreboard is just knocking down the shots, and so the offense is creating open shots, and they just came to a point where they didn't go in, but there were several that went in, rattled out, and I can't be upset about that. We got the shots that we wanted, and days they'll fall, and there's some days they won't. So I'm encouraged going to second semester. This was Chris's last game, and it really emotional in the locker room, even earlier this week, but especially today, because everybody loves Chris. Everybody wants Chris to succeed, and nobody wants to be on the bus or in the locker room or anything without Chris there. So I just wanted to say for the last time that I'm going to have the chance to, that I'm glad I got a chance to coach Chris, but more importantly, be a lifelong friend of Chris. And I wish him well as he starts to prepare for his upcoming marriage and job.
Chris, same. Coach kind of took my last question from me, but I know it's an emotional game for you. Obviously, the last one for you in your career with the Bruins. So I guess if kind of looking back on your career with the team, the things that God has taught you, and the things that as you leave that you're going to be proud of in terms of the mark that you've left on the program.
Yeah, I think personally myself, just to stay humble. Coming as a freshman, a very excited and anxious kind of player, and thinking I was be able to make an impact, and God wanted me to redshirt, and then learning through Kyle and leaders that have been on this team, God showed me humility and showed me I needed to stay humble. I think as a team, learning through adversity, there's definitely times when we have first semester and we have tough games, but coaches, Coach Ring, Coach Wingren, Coach Uwaro, Coach Miller, Coach Champion, many other guys, and especially other teammates, I'll have lifelong friends. Being a Bruin is one of my favorite things I've ever done in my life. I love playing at this school. It's a place I call home, and it's going to be hard leaving, but I'm excited for the future, getting married. I'm excited for that, and Coach has been a big impact in my life, just leading me, just through wisdom and everything. So it's emotional, and I'm sad, but I'm thankful to be a Bruin. And I'm excited for the guys next semester. I'm leaving. I know they're going to be in good hands with Coach Uwaro and Coach Miller and Coach Champion. The teammates, I know they're not going to quit, and they're going to keep fighting and working hard over the summer. So I'm excited. So Bruin Nation, next semester, this is us. So we're going to keep working hard. So let's get it.
All right. Thank you, guys.